the table. Tell me, who is the leader that you admire most?
It has to be Lee Kuan Yew. You know, there are a few reasons for that. One is obviously the outcomes that he was able to create. I mean, Singapore, for a 400 square kilometer rock, is today one of the richest countries in the world from a per capita standpoint. It's just extraordinary. No resources, no energy, no food, and you make a marvel out of it. But why I really admire the person, though, is he was unconventional. He had the capacity to be bold and to do things which went against the norm of the 1960s and 70s.
How has that influenced your leadership style?
Having a clear sense of mission, of what you're trying to do, and more important, getting alignment around that mission. This fires and inspires people.
Yeah, it's so true. I think in LinkedIn, we talk about our vision almost every day, like is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. And you know, when you have that purpose, it's so much easier to get people excited. The other thing we talk about in LinkedIn is a lot about our culture and how, when we think about the values of our company, we talk about our members first, because the members are what makes LinkedIn really exist.
Yeah, that resonates with me.
So, Piyush, through the disruptive technologies and the global pandemic and now economic uncertainty, DBS has come out stronger than ever and was even awarded World's Best Bank in 2022. Can you share how DBS has been able to harness rapid technological change, and in particular, how you have led DBS through the last few years?
We've been on the journey for a few years when COVID hit. And it became quite apparent that the future of buying, consumption, GDP, it's all moving online. And so you have to architect your products and your solution sets very differently. In our own case, we'd started this some years ago, trying to copy the big tech. And in the COVID and the pandemic, we really doubled down on all this. We solved for the last mile of the customer experience. So there was a second, big shift that we had to make. From a people management standpoint, as you know, everybody realized this idea of remote working, work from home or work from anywhere. We had done some prior work on this. But recognizing that it is possible for people to work from anywhere, but more than that, recognizing that this is going to be the way work happens in the future. And the first thing that came back to me is, this nature of some degree of flexibility, hybrid work. We better start thinking about it and catering to it, because you got to then figure, how do you manage people remotely? How do you not lose the soul of the organization? So you have to rethink the way you manage, how do you create togetherness, how do you create remote management? But we work very hard at that.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you think about AI and how that's incorporated in your thinking of how you're going to take the bank forward?
People sometimes call data the new oil. I call it the new air, because it is everywhere. It knows no boundaries. The future of the world will belong to people who master data and who can leverage AI. Our marketing is done through AI. Our risk assessment and credit underwriting is done through AI. So it's already making a big impact on how we run our business. I think in the last few months, generative AI has told us that there is another world out there.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because like what you say, in fact, in LinkedIn ourselves, we've been using AI for quite a few years already. But with Gen AI right now, we can actually support our members and even companies on how they can use AI to actually help them recruit better. We have seen on our platform, in terms of AI talent, growing by 565%. So that's a huge increase in terms of the share of AI talent, and the number of people picking up AI skills, updating their profile has gone up. Let's shift our focus to what this means for our teams and talent. How have you managed your talent strategies in tandem with the changing landscape, and what's top of mind for you as you prepare your workforce for the future?
So let me address that in two ways. One is, how do we groom and grow our existing talent base? And my view has always been that everybody is trainable. My belief is it doesn't matter how old you are. So our focus has been on reskilling and retraining our workforce at scale. We have a rigorous focus on internal mobility. And that's just to signal to people that you have to move around, and that's the way you will grow and learn. But in addition, you've got to start hiring for ability and skills, not just for CVs. And that's a big shift. And finally, it's culture. You've got to make sure the people you have, the people you reskill, the new people you bring on board, how do you create a cohesive culture
Yeah, I love what you just shared about how companies actually need to really take the whole idea of providing that learning opportunity for the people seriously. Since 2015, we've seen a big shift in terms of skills. Skill sets are definitely evolving, and companies that play a role in helping their employees to create that opportunity to learn new skills is going to continue to meet that business need.
So what I would say is this. I think the pace of change is not only rapid, like you're saying, Fionn, but it's accelerating. So I tell people the future is not about what you do. It is about how you do it. And you're going to focus, therefore, on a culture in a company which gives you resilience, gives you agility, and allows you to pivot to multiple different directions. Now, how do you create that agility and culture? Number one, you've got to create a lot of generalists. You've got to have people who know how to connect the dots, who understand context, who understand a breadth of different things. Experience and cross-functional experience becomes very important. You need that. The second thing you need to recognize is that you will not know all the answers. So the old way of management and leadership, where the boss knew the answers and you sort of cascaded down middle management and cascaded it down to the bottom, doesn't work. This is exactly what the new generation wants. They don't want to be a cog in the wheel. The cultural shift is they want to make an impact.
In LinkedIn, we talk about adaptive leadership as well. Is during this uncertain period, the leader that is adaptable and that kind of culture that really empowers people to have that mindset is actually going to be really important.
Completely in sync with that.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Piyush.
It's a real pleasure to join you, Fionn.
As you heard from our conversation, companies must adapt to thrive. Successful companies embrace agility, innovation, and digital transformation. A key way to meet job seekers' priorities is to consider continuous learning, foster adaptability, and proactively respond to workforce and market demands. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for the next episode of At the Table.